Welcome back to AutoKnerd. Now, last week we talked a lot about, in episode 59, the art of asking questions and how to go about it in such a way that guides the customer down an organized process with hopefully a predictable outcome. We use the pathways of context, constraint, and commitment. But here's the truth bomb of it all. You can be the smartest, smoothest talker with all the customer friendly personality that people absolutely love. But if you don't know how to use that information, you can't close that deal. At least you won't be able to close that deal well at profit, because you need to be able to take that information from discovery and apply it and turn it into action. This is what we're going to talk about today. Taking that info, painting the beautiful picture for the customer, and really making that our moneymaker. Here we go. So once upon a time, a young Andrew Sardone was walking around the showroom floor. And let's just say I had to learn the hard way after I developed all of the bad habits that apparently were all the good things that people were doing. I am talking to people. I'm getting all these questions. I realized that needs assessment was where the money was. If I was going to have any success in this business at all, I had to get to know people. I'm asking the questions. And as I'm asking the questions, I'm even writing down the answers in front of them. I'm doing everything that I feel is needed in order to be successful at this point in time. The problem is that I never actually used the information with a lot of my customers. I relied on my motivations of, I enjoy these cars. I'm going to get excited. I'm going to show that, because that was one of the biggest things at the time, is be excited and deliver on that excitement. If I knew what I knew now, is that taking the customer's desires into consideration is going to be one of the strongest things for your deal, I would have changed an awful lot back then. You see, the most interesting part about a lot of this is that the customer is coming in, they're asking for help from somebody that they don't know, and it's almost like an area of desperation in a way. And they're quite literally handing us the playbook, and only those of us that are patient enough will be able to reap the benefits of it. And there's so many consultants out there that just don't use it, and so many managers that just don't put forth the tools to allow consultants the time, in some instances, to actually get the roadmap to the sale from the customer. And this is pretty sad, because there are so many times along the way that we get all of these touch points to create a personal relationship, and yet we're pushed to eliminate time for the sake of patience. It's just always boggled my mind the reasons that we rush these deals, and we don't either ask the questions, or we get the questions and we don't put the stuff to use. So today, I'm telling you, slow down. These questions have huge stats to go behind them. So we're going to start off with some right now. The statistics are the statistics, and they show a pretty compelling argument to digging into the wants and desires of the customer. A study done in 2019 of 6,000 individual calls of top performing consultants found a repeating pattern in these phone calls. And that repeating pattern was actually pretty simple. It was repeating and clarifying the information back to the customer. They found that this had a conversion rate of 179%, being able to get that customer into the showroom floor off of the phone. So if you are working in the BDC, work on clarifying and repeating the information back to the customer so they know how important they are to you, and they can see that you care. But customers that feel heard don't just talk more to you. They show up and they stay engaged, and then they get this, buy at profit. So if you're asking these questions and you're not actually using the information, you're throwing money away. You're straight up going ahead and taking the cash, and you're just tossing it in the can because you're walking to a vehicle that the customer desires more. Well, that's fine. Desire and practicality do have their balance, being able to get somebody in a mid-range model and do a presentation on it that shows that it is the best possible option is something that you can do, but that's utilizing the information. The lazy way is taking the customer on the lot, pumpkin patching them, finding the most expensive vehicle, and then next thing you know, you're giving away the vehicle and walking away with a $100 Mini, or a broken heart of a manager going, I really didn't want to do that to my consultant. But sometimes we have to do what we have to do. But in the end, discovery without direction is just wasted breath. It's just you creating a conversation to build rapport, which is great, and build trust up, which is awesome. And then once you get to the presentation, apparently we just let it all fall apart. And this is the part that is a little confusing. You know them, they've given you the information, and they told you how to sell the vehicle to them. This is just the part where we need to remember our notes and why we come to work on the daily. And the psychology backs this up, which is really cool. Studies have been done that show that the customer's trust skyrockets when they believe that they're talking to somebody that's a good listener. It skyrockets by 74%. Your ability to close that customer on down simply because they feel heard and understood. I don't know if it's just these statistics are crazy high because the talent pool is so broad with car sales consultants and managers, or if it's simply because we have a whole group of people out there that doesn't participate in actually understanding how to interact with other individuals. So once you have that information from the customer and you've played the role of good listener and you've taken some pretty awesome notes, it's time to echo it back. And it's really simple. Just echo their words back to them. They gave you the information. Just let them know that you heard it. You're just confirming and you're validating. So here's an example. I need something reliable for my family. So as you're walking around with them, reliability for your family is a non-negotiable, right? This allows the person now to instantly have that little bubble up of confidence in you that allows them to go, hey, this person actually gets me. And that's huge because every time you repeat an answer back with kindness and caring backing it, because it needs to be in the right tone, all of a sudden you have a customer whose trust just incrementally increases. And if our job is to drive anxiety down and drive happiness upward to motivate the customer to buy a car at high profit, that means that I need to spend the time to get to know who they are. Let's get practical. One of my favorite frameworks is needs, wants, and fears. Needs, wants, and fears. Such simple things, and we all know what they are. It's not a hard thing to figure out here. Needs are going to be those non-negotiables. They are the must-haves. You cannot get around it. Those are the things that the customer needs right now. Wants are nice to have items. These are things that you can pull off the vehicle to reduce price or add to the vehicle to increase the customer's desire to want it. And then you have fears. Fears are just natural pain points and worries that tend to stall the deals. This could be things like all of a sudden the addendum pops up and their customers, oh my gosh, I didn't see that. And it's like, no, you did. You're just acting surprised right now. Clearly, I didn't build the value in the right spots. Or when it comes to those pain points, you have, well, about a billion other things. But all these things creep up and stall the deal. Well, CDK Global in 2024 did a little bit of a study on their own, and they found that just 5 to 20 minutes spent on needs assessment had 90% of the customers they were surveying landing on the right car. This is pretty cool because this isn't luck. This is process, and this is proof that simply listening to who the person is and taking good notes and using the product knowledge that you have, even if it's rudimentary. If the customer wants an SUV, but they can't afford it, well, I got another hatchback over here. Making switches like that and little micro adjustments throughout your presentation because you know that the customer has certain things that they absolutely must need, and selling the needs and layering the wants if you have the financial ability allows the fears of that customer to go away simply because they know you're on their side. This is why on every single survey out there that says, hey, why did somebody buy the car? Why didn't they buy the car? It always boils down to the sales consultant either losing the deal or making the deal. We bubble up as that number one motivator or detractor every single time. But if 90% of the focus group here landed on the right vehicle after 5 to 20 minutes of just basic conversation, that gets us on the right car. It doesn't build much in the way of trust. I think 5 minutes is way too short of a conversation to build up enough trust. But after 20 minutes, you've landed on the right vehicle. They know you well enough. As long as you present the right stuff, they're leaving with that car right then and there. Let me give you an example. For needs, you have a customer come in and they say, well, I need something with 2 car seats. Oh my gosh. Oh, you must have a busy life. But the 2 car seats must fit. Non-negotiable. Okay, got it. You got to fit in 2 car seats. You got to take your kids around. I completely understand. I'd really love though. What would you love? Well, I would really love a sunroof and a premium audio system. Really, a premium audio, not like a specific brand, just a premium audio system. It sounds like you have been reading the brochure. Yes, I have. But I really do fear the fact that these desires of things like the premium audio system, it will put me over on payment. And also, I noticed that package comes with a lot of extra niceties, and the repair bills might be a little bit higher. You know what? I entirely understand. That would be one of my worries as well. More stuff in the car, potentially more to go wrong. But even though the old adage is old, it still works. If we don't spend the time, though, to resolve this issue, to resolve this fear, the last thing, the customer needed a car that fit 2 car seats. They'd love to have some extra goodies on the vehicle. Cool. That's awesome. But they have a fear on the money side. We have to talk about this now. Now, if you're of the mindset of, well, I don't talk to money during needs assessment, enjoy getting to the end and having the customer beat you up during negotiation. If you don't have the information, there's no way that you can target a particular vehicle. So you got to get that information right up front, but we also need to tackle that fear. And if we don't tackle that fear, this deal has the potential of slipping right through your fingers, because our job, as almost by definition as a consultant, is to consult them. If they have a problem, we sit down with them and we iron out that issue or that fear. They come to us looking for answers sometimes. It's not always about sell. Sometimes it's help. And oh, hey, look, I got a big fat paycheck out of this. It's pretty awesome. But again, you gotta do that. And it holds water on the used car side as well, because you have customers coming in and they have this fear of overpaying. The hidden history on the cars. Where's the Carfax? The future repair bills they're worried about. And dealers who tackle these things head on by immediately talking about, hey, let me get the Carfax report for you. We're going to get that out of the way. Here's the CPO warranty that is on that vehicle. Let's talk about it right now, right up front. And these help you build some instant street cred immediately, because you're showing to the customer, I care about you, right up front in the first 20 minutes. And by doing that, now you have things like their fears start to melt away. You have justification and understanding where, hey, if these do push your payment out of whack with the sunroof and the premium audio system, are those items that we can pull off? If they say they're not negotiable because they've wanted them forever, then, well, it falls into the bucket of need, and I may need to switch them to another vehicle in order to get this deal done and make them happy at the same time. But addressing that fear and getting that thing to go away will reduce a lot of their worries, build trust, keep rapport nice and high. And speaking of, one of those things that may help you address your fear when it comes to being on the showroom floor, if you are fairly new, is head on over to AutoKnerd.com and sign up for that newsletter. That newsletter is there to send you out a free tool every week. Now, it is the light version. If you want the big, thick tool that I'm currently beta testing and you want to take a look at our future, go ahead, head on over to AutoKnerd.com and you'll see where you can sign up for that beta test. So the beta test, again, you get the manager packet, you get the consultant packet, you get the freebie tool that is on the newsletter, and it really makes a dynamic training package for you. Now, in addition to that, I am also holding office hours now. If any of you need to spend any time bouncing ideas off, working problems out, whatever it might be, hit me up. If you are looking for your own customized tool, I do include that in with the session. So I have half an hour sessions, hour sessions. If you're a consultant and you just want a tool to help you out that's fully customized to you, just sign up for half an hour. If you're a manager and you want to do some game planning, my suggestion, get one of those 1 hour time chunks. We will hammer it all out and we will get your staff on maybe a straight and narrow. If not, then be able to up your game when it comes to things like leadership or trust or whatever it might be. I'm here to help you out. So take advantage of that time since I have it available. Now, The tool for this week, packed with scripts, it's packed with all the goodies. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of the light version right now, the freebie that is on the newsletter. So if you want this, just head on over there. There's more examples in it than what I am going to cover here. But here is a pretty crappy example of not being able to engage the brain, so to speak. Customer comes on in, they sit in front of you, and they go, "Safety is my top concern." Cool. Let me see what the special is for this month. Come on, man. You just lost the deal. Congratulations. You spent 2 seconds putting yourself before the customer. This is not good. We always should be putting the customer first in this situation because they're the ones buying the car. We're simply just the guide. And a stronger example of this, though, is, again, customer comes in, they sit down in front of you, and they say, "Hey, safety, top concern. We got an accident. It's a really big thing. That's why I am sitting in front of you today." And we've all seen these people. We feel bad for them, but man, they are easy sells. Safety is a top concern. Well, as a consultant, absolutely. Since safety is a non-negotiable for you, let's just start there. I'm going to find the highest top-rated vehicles this year for crash testing. But a stronger example here would be more along the lines of the customer sitting down, basically saying the same thing. Is like, "Hey, safety is a top priority of mine." Cool. So it's a non-negotiable, right? Yeah, it's a top priority. I need like airbags. Okay, gotcha. Are you okay, by the way? I see you got kind of a kink in your neck. Well, I got in an accident, dummy. Oh, okay. All right, I got it. So it's a non-negotiable. How about we actually start there? It seems like it's a really huge concern of yours. You want to make sure safety is buttoned up for yourself and your family, right? Yeah. I have 2 little kids too. Oh, perfect. Then I'm going to show you the highest rated vehicles to keep you and your family safe because it's kind of a concern of yours at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, it really is. At this point, trust is built. Trust is now growing simply because I'm hitting right on the most important thing for them immediately. It's a concern, it's a fear. They don't want to buy a vehicle that is going to put them in a crappy position when it comes to being in an accident. So here's the challenge, though. Don't just listen to them. Sort the information out, echo it, and bridge it. So if you need help practicing this, I've got you, as I said. The Discovery Mapper tool this week, it is the light edition. And again, if you want the Pro or even the Elite, or there's the whole darn thing, go ahead and click that link in the show notes, and that will bring you right on over to the beta test and just download it. Take a look at it, see what it's all about. And if you're a sales consultant or you're fairly new, it's meant to be a turnkey kind of thing. So if you're a manager and you're not a teacher, many of us never were, never inspired to be, but we ended up being the person that has to create some sort of team and be a leader. You can head right over to that beta test right now, sign up, and then on every Monday or Tuesday, I will email you the whole packet, the whole darn thing. And as you look through it, you're going to notice that, oh my gosh, it tells me what to say, when to say it, how to set up activities, how to do pretty much everything I need to do to bump CX up at my store. In addition to that, it's also going to walk you on through a lot of the things to help you just be a better version of yourself to your staff, which is always awesome because our staffs are always looking to us for more help. But the light edition, the freebie that is available on the webpage, is a simple one-pager. We cover the needs, wants, the fears, and we practice echoing and bridging these little gaps here from what the customer is telling us to actually showing it on the vehicle. So grab it. Again, it's in the show notes. It's completely free. It's fast. It's super easy. And as you attach these things and you put these bridges together, you may have to zoom out, because emotions play a very huge role over all of this. And I know if you're listening and you're hardened in this business and you're thinking, maybe Andy can give me something that I could apply that will help me sell more cars, this is probably going to be it today. The emotional side that the customer is dealing with has to be something that we recognize. And as we throw all the matching on in there with making sure that we're actually listening to the customer and reiterating the information back and matching that item to a car, we also need to match them. which means that we got to mirror the customer's tone, their pace, and even their body language in many ways. Psychologists, funny enough, they call this just simply mirroring, and it makes people feel comfortable because you're going to meet the customer where they are. And when fears surface up, you don't have to bulldoze them. And if you do, the customer is going to give you a little grace on this because you're going to be able to validate the customer's concerns at this point. And by being able to validate their concerns, this is where we can take those emotions and again, move them back into the positive area, which moves them more towards profit. But there's always digging further into it with the whole feel, felt, found, the common classic that we all know. And this is where it's, I understand how you feel. Others have felt the same way. And what they found was, and here's the solution. This particular practice of realizing what is going on with the customer inside, because many people within that first 20 to 30 minutes that we're working with them really don't know what direction it's going to go, and they have all the reasons to have all the fear in the world that things are going to go south. If you mirror their emotional state, you can bring them down a lot and really reduce that anxiety again, and allow them to see that you can be empathetic in an entirely different version of a car sales consultant or a manager, and you can then apply guidance. So this is empathy plus guidance at this point. This is us being able to look at the customer and let them know that emotionally, I understand you as well there too. This sometimes is not easy for people, but the sale itself, it's going to shift from being this adversarial thing to cooperative as soon as you recognize that emotion. So they give you everything. You can move forward. You have all those answers. You're ready to match them to particular pieces of the car. But once you have their attitude and you start to realize that, hey, maybe I can match that, maybe even embody it. As you're doing a presentation in the car, you start showing things in their own tone, and then they're more accepting of the picture that you're going to paint for them. It's really cool when you have the ability to just take that time, apply a lot of patience, and be able to paint that photo in a way that the customer looks at it and goes, that's exactly how I would have explained it. That's exactly how I would be using it. Simply because you're listening and you're paying attention. Let's wrap this up for today. Asking the right questions is great for opening the door. It's awesome. You get that information. Using those answers builds trust. Echoing what the customer says and sorting it out into their needs, wants, and fears allows us to build a bridge every time to enact action. And that action gives us that ability to create motivation. Remember, if you really want something, like an automobile, and you've desired it for a very long time, $100 a month is not going to stop you from buying that car. $100 a month should just be a simple, I really want it, so I'm going to go ahead and get it. But when customers sit down in front of us and they start battling for that $100, we miss something along the lines that's built into those needs, those wants, and those fears. And it's probably one of those fears that the customer is very worried about. We got to make sure that we squash that thing. So don't forget the Discovery Mapper Lite Edition that is on the newsletter for this week. Completely free download. You just got to go to AutoKnerd.com. Link is in the show notes. Go ahead, click it, and check it out. In addition to that, you also have that beta test. Sign up for that. That thing's super kick butt awesome. The people that are using it, great feedback on that. Again, completely turnkey. If you're a manager and you need that kind of thing, take a look. But we are also starting to hone it in on a lot of CX and CSI oriented items. So if you're having problems with CX or CSI, please just check it out. Hit me up, Andrew@AutoKnerd.com, and I'll be happy to give you a full walkthrough on how exactly this whole thing functions. The beta test tool, random tool that goes out, but fully customizable training is available. If you're serious about sharpening your craft, check that thing out. It's, again, completely free. But finally, do me a favor. Click that subscribe button. That subscribe button helps me out in many ways, helps me help you. Mash that like button as well. If you are on YouTube, again, get this message on out there. We're trying to change an industry here. An industry that has just been dragged through the mud, and apparently we're terrible people because of the people that came before us. So until next week, when we start talking about the vehicle presentation stage and layering all of this goodness right on top of there, I hope you have a great one. Go out there, spread the kindness, to spread the caring, love the person that's sitting in front of you simply because they are there to pay all of your bills. And with a little luck, you can get to know them, make a friend, and who knows, in the end, they might buy a second car and a first one at very high profit. So I'll talk to you next week. AutoNerd out.